Ubuntu. I am because you are.
The answers to the future always reside in the past. And that's where knowledges that are banished in the past, like Ubuntu, become relevant.
Ubuntu is the essence of being human, of being a person. And basically it says what all of us in fact experience. A person is a person through other persons. You can't be human in isolation. You need others in order to be human.
The word Ubuntu comes from a Southern Guni word or phrase that says, I am because you are. You are because we are. In other words, as human beings, there's a sense in which there is some connection and interdependence. We rely on each other. Ubuntu is not a political program. I also want to add that it is not, a religious, expression. Ubuntu is about our social awareness, a consciousness of the others, a consciousness of the fact that we all have a responsibility to ourselves as human beings, especially the vulnerable among us. But perhaps more importantly, we also have a responsibility to, the world around us, the totality of our environment. Did you know that 30% of food crops in the world need cross-pollination from bees? These tiny insects. So if you are going to destroy the bees or the earth, you are ultimately destroying yourself. So the principle of co-agency implies that we are co-creators. It relies on the recognition that we are interdependent in a balanced biodiversity. So it is that principle of co-agency that Ubuntu encourages. The awareness that our interdependence, that personhood moves beyond the relationship between humans and humans, but a relationship between humans and non-humans, precisely because we are implicated in their lives and they are implicated in our lives. Even in the West, which thrives on the principle of individualism, there's a sense in which they agree that they're fundamental, basic human rights that each one of us owes to the community. I always like to make a distinction between individuality and individualism. Individuality gives you a sense of independence and freedom and also a development of your own personal character. Individualism, to the contrary, is self-referential. It is about you, me, all the times. And the ego always takes over. In all human societies, the way we temper the personal ego, communities moderate those by constantly reminding you that you are not living in isolation. You belong to a family. You belong to a broader community. You belong to a community of your peers. And you also belong to the world. And you have a responsibility for that world. If you get, too implicated in your subject, then you end up sounding like a missionary. I don't want to sound like a missionary. What Ubuntu has taught me, in a very profound way, is to realize that some of what we call banished knowledges or indigenous knowledge systems that we have here in Africa and in many other parts of the world, that there is value in some of these knowledges, and that perhaps If we want to reimagine the society of the future, then there's a sense in which a value system like Ubuntu can teach us, one, our mutuality, secondly, our conviviality as a people.
Ubuntu is about a sense of family, a sense of community, respecting family values and community values. Before the slave trade and colonialism, Africans had a very strong sense of family and community. In our communities, we had 8 grades and we had age groups. We had the children, we had the youth, we had the women and the men, and then we had the elders. For instance, when we talk about community cleanup, the youth and the men will engage in clearing and cleanup, and then the women will do the sweeping, and then elders will supervise. So there was a sense of community, everybody making sure that the community was clean for everybody to live in a healthy environment. Land did not belong to any particular government or individuals. The land belonged to the community and the people that lived in the community. The land belonged to families, and you had land by virtue of being a member of a family. Land was allocated according to the traditions and customs that were laid down by the forefathers. Not until the white man came with his religion and his politics and then destroyed everything that held Africans together. As summarized by Chinua Achebe in his book, Things Fall Apart.
What has happened to that piece of land in dispute? Asked Okonkwo. The white man's court has decided that it should belong to Nama's family, who had given much money to the white man's messengers and interpreter. Does the white man understand our custom about land? How can he, when he does not even speak our tongue? But he says that our customs are bad, and our own brothers who have taken up his religion also say that our customs are bad. How do you think we can fight when our own brothers have turned against us? The white man is very clever. He came peaceably and quietly with his religion. We were amused at his foolishness and allowed him to stay. Now he has won our brothers, and our clan can no longer act like one. He has put a knife on the things that held us together, and we have fallen apart.
Is it possible to revive the philosophy of Ubuntu in Africa? Yes, it is. We have to go back to the family values and community values that were handed down through the generations by our ancestors. How do we do that? Watch out for the next video. Thank you for watching.